The future of Season of Discovery. The future of Season of Discovery looks amazing. Season of Discovery, classic WoW. WillE, let's take it away. Here we go. This will be a good video.
Stranglethorn Vale for PvP, the Scarlet Monastery being seen as raiding content, and the prospect of a whole new zone.
I think it looks good. I think so.
Crypts finally being used in the World of Warcraft universe. These are just a few of the rumors surrounding the mysterious future phases for Season of Discovery. So far, the phase we've had with the level 25 cap has honestly been one of the best times in WoW I've had in a long time. There's new content, updated classes, new items, quests to find, and just a fresh perspective on the game. It's amazing how much has...
Imagine if the Ashenvale open world PvP battle compelled 400 Alliance players to actually fight over an objective against 400 Horde players, rather than just having different and distinct objectives during which you never even encounter the opposite faction. That would be cool if there was actually PvP. That'd be cool if there was PvP.
A fresh perspective on the game. It's amazing how much has been done by just restricting our level cap a bit. And the best thing is we get to do this staggered level cap thing 2 more times in the future as well. As we already know, the second phase of Season of Discovery will raise the level cap to 40, Phase 3 50, Phase 4 60, and beyond that is expected to be something akin to our usual phase releases for the remaining raiding content, all the way from Molten Core to Nax Rammus. But that is very far off in the future at the moment, so we'll see what they do. Classic WoW also just got a roadmap for the future of its content, spanning from this
winter first time we've had one of
all the way
these
to next autumn, so we can definitely make use of this when making estimates as for when future phases will be. But today we are going to be doing a little bit of speculating. When will the next phase be? How long will phases last? What will the new content be?
I think late January.
And ultimately, what happens to our characters at the end of the season? But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, Factor 75. It's coming up to gift-giving season very soon, and not long after that, a brand new year. And especially after the end of a year, it's a good time to start setting new habits. Above all, what you're eating. And though eating the right things can be hard, Factor 75 offers convenience to make it easy. Factor 75 are delicious dietitian-approved meals delivered straight to your doorstep. These meals are calorie-counted, and the weekly menu features over 30 restaurant-quality meals, including keto, calorie-smart, vegan,
the thing is, you do need to cook them.
More. So
you have to cook them.
The dietary restriction, there's something for everyone. But the biggest benefit is that you won't be...
Oh, never mind. I guess you maybe... Like, some of them you have to cook, other ones I guess you can microwave.
Spending ages in your kitchen trying to cook something healthy, as each of Factor 75's meals are ready in about 2 minutes. It's microwave food, but just not in a way that you've seen it before. So if you're still thinking of gift ideas, but want something that will last into the new year...
I will say this, I'm sorry, WillE. Guys, you need to not live off of microwave plastic food. Like, seriously... Microwaving food in plastic containers and eating it is really, it's not going to be good for you. You need to stop doing that. Do not do that. Don't do that.
75 could very well just
be fuck you up.
Use my link or go to factor75.com and use code POGWILLEDECK50 for 50% off your first box. You can find the link in the description down below or by scanning the QR code on screen with your phone. Many thanks to Factor 75 for the sponsor today.
Nice.
Let's get back to WoW. First up then, let's think about Phase 2. So at the moment the level cap is 25 and we're just over 3 weeks into the season and the game is feeling super fresh. This is the phase where either as a casual player you can get to push to level cap and see how endgame goes.
I will say it. I think right now in SOD we are at the point where people are probably bored if they are not on their second or third alt. Okay? I think that SOD has probably had a somewhat significant player drop off because people are like, okay, well I've done the BFD raid 6 times. I have most of my gear and I don't want to level a third alt. I don't want to level a fourth alt. I'm just going to wait for phase 2. I think we are at that point.
Or as a more hardcore player, you start to set up your alt army with everything you want to play as later phases are released. However, the level cap being 25 is a big decider for how long I think this phase will last in total, as capping out a character, doing some Ashenvale, doing some BFD and so on, doesn't take all that long. I've always said I think this first phase will be somewhere in the region of 6 to 8 weeks in total, and if we were to add about 4 weeks on to where we are at the moment, I'd suggest a mid to late January release for Season of Discovery's second phase. So we're talking around the 18th to the 25th of January, and this does fit in with the timeline on the roadmap too.
The 18th to the 25th of January. Okay, all right.
But what is for the content in Phase 2? We already have had confirmation that Blizzard are planning on a Gnomeregan raid being the next major raid for the Season of Discovery. Gnomeregan itself has definitely seen some newfound infamy thanks to the hardcore mode. It only takes that one guy straying a bit and pulling some trash packs for this place to get super out of control.
It's in the Dark Iron hallway every time.
Can't wait to see that one guy pull all the Dark Iron.
I have always thought that this, I mean the entire raid, but this boss fight specifically could be so cool in like a 20-man raid. I really hope Gnomer's 20-man raid.
Agents before the last boss in a raid and proceed to wipe you. Gnomeregan may also present some rather unexpected changes in the damage dealing meta for Season of Discovery. See, the raid as a whole has a lot of mechanical and elemental enemies in it, and they tend to be immune to a lot of stuff ranging from bleeds, poisons, frost damage, nature damage, and certain
drain life ability. Oh my god, dude. Half the mobs in here are immune to drain life. As a warlock tank, that's going to suck, kind of.
CFX. I hope it's not super comp dependent in terms of wanting to bring classes which can actually hit stuff. I know in vanilla that's how it is, but it's also seasonal. Maybe we don't have to stick 100% to the original format. In terms of loot from Gnomeregan, there's already been some very exciting updates which have been found on Wowhead, including some of the raid's most iconic items. The manual crowd pummeler appears to have been upgraded to the automatic crowd pummeler. Instead of it having 3 charges, it's now on use with a 3-minute cooldown. However, only usable by Paladin, Shaman and Druid. Of course, this has been bis forever for Feral Druids. Their attacks don't scale directly from their weapon, but instead from their attack power and auto attacks in form. The real intriguing bit to me, however, though, is that we very well may see a 2-handed enhancement rune next phase, and you'll be able to pop this almost self-bloodlust type effect
maybe so.
and blast with this weapon for 30 seconds. It's even got great offensive stats. The weapon speed is a bit of a letdown in terms of seeing big crits, but it should still...
Yeah, you might be doing some weapon swapping, where you swap it on, pop the cooldown, and then swap it off for a better weapon. Maybe.
It'll be good. I'm wondering how they will update drop tables for bosses as well, though, because loads of the BFD bosses straight up had a ton of new items, instead of old items being upgraded. The one item I'd love to see getting an epic upgrade would be the electromagnetic Gigaflex reactivator, the helmet from the last boss that shoots out an AoE which gives you a mini lightning shield afterwards. This item has so much potential. Maybe even tanks would want it if the AoE was good enough. Another thought about Noma is that it's in Dunmora, so the Alliance will not auto-flag for PvP on PvP servers, but Horde will.
The Horde will.
It's the same experience as what Alliance get when they go to Scarlet Monastery. Is this something that should be changed, do you think, in Season of Discovery in any way? Of course, non-flagging exists in starter zones, so you don't get level capped degenerates going to gank lowbies. But when all of a sudden this low-level zone is the end game, maybe that changes things. Maybe the actual Gnomeregan zone outside of the raid should cause auto-flagging, but outside that, you're good. It's not like Horde are going to have to run all the way to Noma either through Dunmora.
They could just like put a little balcony right here, right? Build a balcony. The Horde teleports in on top of the balcony, and then when the Horde wants, they jump down and into the instance. Jump off and in, right? So make it so the Horde can teleport in safely, and then they jump in and in, right?
It's a quest that sends you to Booty Bay that teleports you straight there. Unlike Alliance, who actually have to run for about 15 minutes from South Shore or through Western Playgrounds to get to Scarlet Monastery. Not like I'm salty about that or anything though. Anyway, speaking of Booty Bay, that brings up our next point, the PvP zone for Phase 2. So Blizzard have mentioned in interviews that STV is likely to be the place where our next set of open world conflicts will be taking place. I have to say though, on the roadmap, it doesn't specifically say STV yet, it just says new PvP event.
I really, really hope they do not put the PvP event in Stranglethorn Vale. Given how poorly they have executed the Ashenvale PvP event, I have no faith that they can properly execute a really cool, really awesome PvP event in Stranglethorn Vale. And also, like, Stranglethorn Vale, it's good enough anyway. It's an awesome zone. Everyone already loves Stranglethorn Vale. I think that if they add an open world PvP event to Stranglethorn Vale, the zone is only going to get worse. Put it, so seriously, put it in Arathi Highlands. No one really gives a fuck about Arathi Highlands. Put it in Arathi. It makes more sense thematically because the battleground we're getting at 40 is going to be Arathi Basin. It makes more sense. Leave STV alone. Do not do it.
So the options are still open, but
Do not do
STV itself is without a doubt the most iconic open world PvP zone in World of Warcraft's history. It fits in well with a level cap of 40, and players will be spending a ton of time questing there anyways to hit the new level cap. It has the notorious Gurubashi free-for-all arena, the weekly fishing event, and tons more. To me, it's more, why wouldn't you go for STV for the PvP zone? There is an alternative, however, which kinda does make sense too, and that's for the Arathi Highlands. This zone also fits well with a level cap of 40, has a decent number of quests in there, albeit most are centered around the elite zone of Stromgarde, and biggest of all, it fits in thematically with the battleground that should be expected to open next phase, Arathi Basin. And whilst Battle for Ashenvale has had many a problem, if you can say one thing, it's a great way to gain rep and the rewards that are tied to the battleground. And thematically, us doing battle in Ashenvale, the place where Warsong Gulch takes place, totally makes sense that our actions within the zone would award reputation. If we're off PvPing an STV, how does that make sense for us gaining reputation with Arathi Basin? Well, it doesn't really. And I don't know if you've ever tried to do Arathi Basin rep through the battleground, by the way.
This is the best BG ever made. God, this is such a good BG. This BG makes Warsong Gulch look like child's play. Arathi Basin is so much better than Warsong Gulch. It's so good.
Hey, but oh boy, is it
so
slow.
good.
Then again, it's a seasonal server. It's fine to do stuff faster or just differently from normal. Maybe some NPCs can be put into STV from your Arathi Basin rep, and they can say this is a vital zone of conflict to control. This helps your faction in some way, and therefore you get rep. Maybe. But anyways, this is what I expect for Phase 2. So the Noma Raid, STV PvP, new runes, new gear and so on, lots to look forwards to. Duration wise, 25 to 40 is a fair bit of leveling. A lot more time will go into that than 1 to 25. So I'd say an absolute minimum of 8 weeks on this phase with a cap of 12, so call it 10 or so. The level 40 bracket is going to be so much fun to play as well. Getting our final talent points with the runes is really...
Do you guys think the level 40 phase is going to be the best phase of all of them? I think it's like very possible that the 40 meta is the best. Totally could be.
Going to push our characters' power levels. So I'm thinking this phase will last around somewhere
I'm
up
excited.
to late March to early April. And this fits in with Blizzard's roadmap too. And here is where we start to go a bit into the dark. In Phase 3 of Season of Discovery, the level cap will be raised from 40 to 50, and we will start to push on towards more endgame content. Or traditional endgame content, I should say. I do wonder whether they'll tie the Alterac Valley reputations and their various rep rewards into...
So in Vanilla WoW, something to keep in mind. Alterac Valley has always been 51 to 60. You've never been able to do Alterac Valley at 50. I think they should have a special level 50 Alterac Valley queue. Meaning phase 1 is phase 1 level 25 is Warsong Gulch. Phase 2 level 40 is Arathi Basin. Phase 3 level 50 is Alterac Valley. And then phase 6 level 60, I think they should have a new BG. They should introduce a new BG at level 60 and give us Alterac Valley at 50. And of course, if you're 60, you can still queue all the other ones, right? But we should get a new one at 60 also. And I think what should it be? It should be Ashara Crater. Everyone has been talking about Ashara Crater for 20 years. It's like the legendary battleground that they never actually ended up adding. Give us the Ashara thing.
To phase 3 as well, or whether they're going to leave them out. See, the in-flavor part of that comes from the fact that each phase so far should have had a new battleground introduced, and it would maintain that and give PvP as something new to work towards. The against part is mainly just to do with, well, how AV has worked in the past. Usually you have to be level 51 plus to join Alterac Valley, and a bunch of the rep rewards, including the mount, all need level 60 to use. And if you remember at BlizzCon, they also teased several images for this season, which back then were Noma, which we know is in phase 2, as well as the Scarlet Monastery and Karazhan Crypts. Would Scarlet Monastery make for the main raid at this level 50 bracket?
I would guess, given we're getting Noma at 40, I think Scarlet Monastery will be 50, and I think that Karazhan Crypts will be 60. I think Karazhan Crypts will be the raid we do at 60 before Molten Core. That's my guess. Good morning.
I mean, it kind of is near the Alterac Mountains to the point where you could tie the reputation into some open world events, but where would the PvP zone itself go? The Alterac Mountains, perhaps? There really isn't a ton to do there, unlike Ashenvale or especially STV. I'm kind of having trouble making sense for what we know about Phase 3 at the moment.
Where would the level 50 open world PvP battle take place? If they're going to continue doing that. Level 50 open world PvP. Could be Searing Gorge. EPL. Dude, EPL is a 55 to 60 zone, and we're level 50. We're level 50 right now, okay? Could be Ashara. Could be Ashara. Could be Searing Gorge. Could be Felwood has some like high level 50 mob, like level 56, 57 mobs also though. So I don't know. Felwood is kind of wide. Though so does Ashara. Tanaris. Tanaris could be, that would be interesting. That would be kind of interesting, Tanaris. I don't know. That's a tough one.
And it does feel like an area of this season that I am the most uncertain about. There is another way that this could go though, and that's for this phase to have Black Rock Depths as the main raid, and Black Rock Mountain, Burning Steppes, and Searing Gorge as the combined PvP zones. I don't know about you, but I really want to see BRD as a raid. It's practically already big enough to be a raid, and you could put so much cool stuff in there. And BRD...
Here's my thing about like turning pre-existing content into new content. BRD is already so good. It is a perfect dungeon. Anything they could do to it would make it worse. And that's how I feel about Stranglethorn Vale. Stranglethorn Vale is already so good. It's a 10 out of 10 zone. Everyone loves it. Anything they're going to do to it is going to make it worse. I don't think they can make it better. Just leave BRD how it is. Now, if you want to talk about turning Black Fathom Deeps into a 10-man raid, like, does anyone really give a shit about Black Fathom Deeps? It's like, whatever. I'm going to do it once. I'm going to go in. I'm going to get my Gravestone Scepter. It's not like a legendary iconic dungeon. So yeah, change it. Who cares, right? But I really think that they should not touch the iconic stuff, okay? Do not touch Maradon. Do not touch Skullomance. Do not touch Blackrock Depths. Do not touch Stranglethorn Vale. These are like the key, most legendary vanilla WoW places, zones, dungeons. Leave it how it is. Convert or improve or tweak the stuff that no one really gives a shit about. That's my approach.
He fits in okay with a level cap of 52. Some of the bosses in there definitely are higher levels for that, but the alternative would be to have this raid at 60. And level 60 isn't short on content or raids already. I think it would be great to have BRD as its own full phase in Season of Discovery. It's a dungeon with a legacy that absolutely deserves time to shine and to be its real own piece of endgame content. As for the open world PvP, battle for Black Rock Mountain. Maybe some kind of King of the Hill vibe to it where you need to hold certain areas down. The fun in BRM PvP was always in outmaneuvering your opponents or sending people on stealth missions to scout and pick off targets. There is so much potential in this mountain, and I hope that we get to experience it in Season of Discovery. The duration of this phase, again factoring in leveling and all the content available, a good 10 to 12 week average sounds okay, maybe even on the short side. This would bring us to around mid-June, which if we look at the roadmap is a little bit early perhaps. I could be overly reading into it, but the 60 cap feels as though it's more angled towards July at the moment, but who knows? Things can always change. Next we have Phase 4 and the final push from levels 50 to 60, and the point where we start to do
I'm going to highlight, I understand the purpose of this video is talking about Season of Discovery, but everywhere on the internet, when I see people talking about this timeline that Blizzard released, no one is even talking about Cataclysm. No one gives a shit about, oh wow, Rise of the Zandalari is coming out in late summer, early autumn. Oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna schedule vacation time so I can enjoy Rise of the Zandalari. It's gonna be so Bro, no one cares. No one cares at all.
Those things can always change. Next,
Not
we
one
have
person.
Phase 4 and the final push from levels 50 to 60, and the point where we start to do Classic's traditional endgame. Here's a thought: do you reckon we'll return to 40-man raids after having done 10, maybe 20-player raids throughout the whole season so far? Smaller raid sizes and shorter lockouts
20-man
are
raids.
generally
20-man, no
more
Morrigan.
friendly.
20-man.
They allow more chances for people on new roles to find a group, and
10-man raids, they suck. They are low testosterone. 10-man raids, they are flaccid. They are lame. Give us 20-man no Morrigan. That's what every single person here wants to see, is 20-man no Morrigan.
And
give us that.
Well, I think I can summarize how I feel about 40-man raids in one single picture. So yeah, the prospect of getting 40 players together, very cool once we're in the raid.
It's not that
so
bad.
Cool on your guild's leadership. I'll be down to try sticking to smaller size raids though. Again, it's seasonal, we can just try stuff and see how it feels. In terms of content, of course, for PvP, we would have Alterac Valley making a return. Open world PvP wise, there is already stuff in the game, to be honest. It's just kinda bad. But the potential is...
This is something... Oh, I haven't thought about this a whole lot. I said this a while ago, but haven't talked about it in a while. I want world boss, world objective content on the way to 60. I wish at 25 that we had world bosses we were competing for, level 25 world bosses. I want level 40 world bosses. I want level 50 world bosses. I want more things like the Gurubashi Arena. I like this like world objective content. You're level 25, 40, 50, 60, and you're going back, you're competing for world objective points. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I wish they would do more of that.
Is there if these events are iterated upon. You've got the Eastern Plagueland Towers, where when a faction holds them, people in the zone and in these strat dungeons gain various bonuses. And then there is Silithus and the Sand Running, where you pick up an item and run it to a guy. The first faction to fill their scoreboard gains bonus reputation in the zone and raids for a while. So yeah, not the most exciting stuff at the moment, but maybe we can get some reputations affected by these events, get some more rewards in there, and just make it a bit more worth players' time. We are all, of course, looking forwards to the new Kara Crypts raid. As for when it releases, though, that is a tough one. And if the phase before level 60 was centered around Blackrock Mountain, the following one leading us into Molten Core kind of does make sense. And after that we have BWL, again that's in the mountain, and then AQ40, which is really its own thing, way out of the way. We do have a link between Karazhan and Naxxramas though, through Medivh and the legendary staff at Yesh. It's not a huge amount to go off, and it would of course mean quite the wait between level 60 and Naxxramas, but it's something. Also,
I think that Karazhan Crypts should be a level 60 20-man raid that you do before Molten Core. I think the gear should be like a little bit worse or sometimes equal to Molten Core gear. That's what I think, with a couple BIS pieces in there thrown in the mix.
So there's no way phase 4 would be the final phase either. There are still so many raids to go through in Classic. If we take a look at Classic's timeline from its re-release in 2019, we can see we've got quite a bit of content to do, and we will also already have some stuff that used to come in future phases already. I think the number of phases can be squished quite heavily here. We will have all the battlegrounds out, I imagine. The honor system's already there. Diamor's been out on every release Blizzard has done post 2019, so I'm pretty sure they're going to do it again. If not before level 60, then at that point, world bosses don't really warrant their own phase, nor does Zul'Gurub in my opinion. We could have those in mini 0.5 phases in Season of Discovery, which really leaves us with just the big new raid tiers dictating phase releases. So we would start with Oni and Molten Core in phase 4, and then with Nax on phase 7. Phase 4 would also be when players are doing that level 50 to 60 push at the start, and that is one big old grind in vanilla. You know, XP wise, it's either being level 46 or 47 is halfway to 60, so players are going to need some time to cap out. This phase seems to be a pretty lengthy one too, lasting from what looks like July all the way into late autumn, which is going to be 3 months or so. So the next phase will be late September.
By the way, what Blizzard has said is that when the level cap is increased from 25 to 40, there will be an XP bonus from 1 to 25. Sort of like a Joyous Journeys thing to help people catch up. And then when the level cap is raised from 40 up to 50, there will be a level XP bonus from 1 to 40. right? To help people get into the game, to help you level alts, which is good. I think it's a good move.
Early October, Blackwing Lair will be the next raid to come out, and alongside that, at some point in time, you need to fit in the various world bosses, so the non-green dragons and the green dragons, as well as ZG. I think some of those can come before BWL, some a little bit after. Give it about 8 to 10 weeks for Phase 5 and BWL, which means Phase 6 and AQ40 would arrive in late November to early December. I kind of doubt they're going to do the war effort on a seasonal server, to be honest. They had it auto-completed for hardcore servers, for example. They do have their own set of difficulties on there, of course, but it just seems as though it's a lot of effort to put people through when the server's expected to have an end date. And finally, the re-release of Naxxramas for Phase 7 would come around in early 2025. Of course, around this time, Kara would drop as well.
You know what I hope they do? What if they didn't have the war effort, meaning you don't have to turn in all the mats to unlock the gates, so you don't have to worry about all that, but you still have maybe like 10 days to farm Scarab Lords. You have a 10-day period, the gates are closed, you can farm your Scarab Lord mounts, and then the gates open automatically after the 10-day mark. I think that would be cool because I'm thinking back to all of the insanely awesome Silithus world PvP that only took place because of people farming Scarab Lord. You had entire guilds in Silithus farming Carapaces 24/7, helping each other out, world PvP. It would suck to lose out on that. Who cares about turning in 40,000 Fire Bloom? Okay, whatever. But no Scarab Lord equals no PvP. I think you want to still have the world PvP down there and sell this for a good, 1 week or 2 weeks or something.
Well, if it already really hasn't, awesome. Kara Crypts could be a thing that Blizzard hold on to try and get something cool towards.
Fuck no, that grind nearly killed me. So I farmed 3 Scarab Lords with my guild. I got it myself and for 2 other officers in the guild. I would never do it again. What I want to do is grief other people. So the reason why I'm like, that PvP was awesome, I'm not going to farm it again. Fuck that. I don't care. I don't want it. I just want a PvP. I just want to go down there and fuck around with other people. That's what I want to do.
It's the end of Season of Discovery awesome. To bring people back. And I do think having something to keep people coming back during the latter parts of the season will matter. Because when we get to 60, it's just back to Molten Core and Onyxia again. Ooh. I guess we better hope that the classes feel amazing to play, because typically for me, the early classic raids have been on the weaker side. Then again, Blizzard have done a great job revamping BFD, so maybe they have time for a few tweaks here and there to make some of these early raid encounters just a bit more engaging. Not difficult content or anything, people have shown us time and again that's not why they're playing Classic, but just a few changes where at least you need to be paying a little bit of attention. But give it 12 to 16 weeks or so for the final phase and it will probably be time to wrap up Season of Discovery. This would happen around April-ish in 2025.
Hold up here. Hold up. So we have, in the middle of summer, level 60 new runes endgame activities. And then, I don't know, a couple months later, Season of Discovery endgame content updates. Crazy idea here. Keep up. What if Season of Discovery doesn't really have an end date? What if it doesn't need to end? What if they just keep adding new stuff to Season of Discovery? New raids, new dungeons, new battlegrounds, entirely new zones, right? A lot of people, I don't agree with this. A lot of people have floated the idea that Season of Discovery is like the beta test for actual Classic Plus. We're gonna get Classic Plus later, but Season of Discovery is the beta test for it. They're figuring out what works. I don't think so. I don't think SOD is the beta test. I think SOD is Classic Plus. As far as Blizzard is concerned, I think this is it. And so if that is true, if my speculation is true, that would mean that this just might be what it is. And at 60, we just they just keep giving us new content. Could totally be the case.
Happen around April-ish in 2025. This would mean a total duration of about 16 to 17 months for the season. And can I remind you, Season of Mastery went on for way longer than you probably remember. It was released on the 16th of November 2021, and it closed on February 14th, 2023. That's some 15 months, and I'm just saying Season of Discovery already has more going for it than Mastery did. By this timeline, the pre-level 60 content will last about 8 months, and the post about 8 months. That doesn't sound too unreasonable, I don't think. So what about our characters? Now that is a tough thing to answer, isn't it? Carting those characters over to Era is just not gonna feel great. It would be like when we went from Legion to BFA if you played retail then, and what I mean is losing half of your character's abilities ain't fun, and you probably...
They're going to have to do... If/when SOD ends, they're going to have Season of Discovery Classic Era servers. Discovery Era, where your level 60 character is going to chill and hang out. Because he's right, you can't put these characters with all their new runes and stuff. You cannot put them... And also new gear. You cannot put them on the regular Classic Era servers. Not going to happen.
We aren't going to stick around for it. I really don't have a great answer for this. Maybe a seasonal Era server where retired characters can go afterwards? But then again, what if there's different themes to different seasons? What about different seasons at all though? Season of Discovery has so much riding on its shoulders. I and many others have called this the Classic Plus Beta in a way. And if these realms continue to pop off as they currently have, Blizzard aren't going to let that opportunity slip them by, I don't think.
I think this is
at least hope. My instinct at the moment, and the thing that makes the most sense, is to say that characters will go over to Classic Era, but I don't think even Blizzard knows at the moment. We just need to see how Season of Discovery plays out for a bit longer before we can really get a feel on this. But this is still all so far off in the future. Right now we have the present in Season of Discovery, and at the moment, I think it is doing amazingly well. I want to hear what you think for the future phases and phase duration though. Am I on track? What do you think of the roadmap Blizzard gave us? And is...
I do think we are playing what we will view in hindsight to be the most boring phase. This right now is probably the most boring phase. And still, I think a lot of people are having fun.
There's something totally different you'd want to see out of a future phase this season. Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. And I'll see you on the next one very soon.
Thank you, WillE. Nice one, WillE. Okay, let me like the video. Let me link the video. Let me take a look at some of the comments here, too. People are really enjoying SOD. In fact, we can see SOD now has been out for 5 weeks. What is the effect of SOD on Classic Wrath of the Lich King? What has happened to Classic Wrath over the last 5 weeks? It is nosediving. It has not been gentle to Classic Wrath. People are quitting en masse, though. It's kind of plateauing out. It's kind of leveling out, right? Maybe Ruby Sanctum will bring some players back, but people are enjoying SOD quite a lot. Let me take a look at the video here, at the comments. I feel like the phases will be like a month longer than you're anticipating. Yeah, so he was expecting phase 2 of SOD to be mid to late January. I think probably late January to early or February. I would put like another week or two on his prediction. I would love a Scarlet Monastery raid, but I really don't want to lose the dungeons. True. Matt Street 4104. If we are to get a Scarlet Monastery raid, they should not be a retrofitted version of the pre-existing Scarlet Monastery dungeons. It should be a new, like they can use the old assets, but just give us a new like raid instanced zone. Okay, give us new hallways, give us a new pattern, give us an entirely new thing. Okay, don't just copy paste retrofit an old one. Give us a new layout, something like that. Because Scarlet Monastery is similar to like Blackrock Depths, similar to Stranglethorn Vale. Some of these iconic vanilla WoW zones, I think you don't want to fuck with them. You don't want to remove them from the game. You don't want to alter them. You know, in the same way that you wouldn't want to go over and repaint over the Mona Lisa. You wouldn't want to repaint over a Van Gogh painting or something, right? They're good enough. Let them be what they are. If you want to make a new painting, do that. That's great. Try it. But you don't need to destroy other really great things in the process, okay? Let it be what it is. Level 40 phase is going to be absolutely epic, assuming it's STV. It will be epic. Do not do anything in STV. Let STV be what it is. Do not change STV. Please, Blizzard, do not. Okay, great video by WillE. Excellent. Let's move on from this. Awesome. Here we go.